Match number 2. We're still in the round of 8 in the winner bracket, and we have Sloth Sanctuary going up against 31 APM now. Battlefield of Eternity is our first map. Again, this is the Underdog Cup, where we are focusing on Division 4 and Division 5 in Heroes Lounge again. We just had a tournament that was focusing on the top level of competitive play with the new patch. And now, as a little bit of a bridge to the next big tournament, when Meta Madness starts, we have an amateur tournament where we're focusing on the lower end of the scale there. So basically all of the players that you're seeing here are around gold. You have your occasional bronzy, couple of plat players, but this is just a bit of a fun event, a fun tournament, where I put up a bit of prize money so that all of these guys can also show off their skills or non-skills, where we're having a little bit of fun, and where we will see also what kind of impact the patch had for this level of play. So by now we had our first match already. This is a double elimination bracket. We have 8 teams in total, and we're going to Battlefield of Eternity first here between these two. Whereas Thrall and Garrosh get banned out. Apparently somebody hates orcs. That's a little bit unfortunate, but that seems to be exactly what we're seeing here, so not good. Also, we have a draft rule. Every single hero can only be played once within a series, so something to keep in mind here as we're progressing from one map to the next. Jojo gets picked up instantly from 31 APM, and then Li Ming. Hansa has been banned, so you want to have some damage against the Immortal. Li Ming, of course, always a good option there too. You can just get one volley off after another. The whole concept, the whole idea of getting Li Ming in this context is simply to shoot one combo after the next, and then your opponent has to either accept the damage on the Immortal, or they have to send somebody to eat the combo, therefore reducing their hit points, which puts pressure on the healer, and eventually you might walk away with winning that fight. So it's more of a sustained damage output against the Immortal that they're thinking about in that context. But she's one of the favorites. She can also in team fights then of course just get those resets after a kill and really jump through an opponent's team. Normally you want to add somebody else too, but Li Ming is really a good start. Same for Vala, obviously. Picked by Phoenix, which is a little bit confusing to me. Vala with an arrow build, great against the Immortal after she gets her level 7 talent, Monster Hunter. Before that she can start stacking her level 1. But you can also still play that auto attack style here. If your whole goal is like, hey, we want to win the team fight first, we're just looking for team battles and kills, and then we go for the Immortal afterwards. But the traditional build is, of course, if you're focusing on the Immortal, to go for an arrow build here. Hogga together with that. Stukov gets banned out. And talking about bans on supports, we're getting another one, the third one, with Rega also getting taken apart. ETC as a front line for Sloth Sanctuary. Words today. Sloth Sanctuary. Yeah, can always try and stun somebody into the Immortal, so not push them into it. Brightwing claimed. And, well, what else are they going to get here? They need a side laner, they need a bit more Immortal damage, and there it is. We get Jimmy with his level 1, with Exterminator, who will obviously be able to do a lot of work against the Immortal. The old man, the old geezer, they bring him back from the old age home. And they get Tassadar in too, okay. Vala Tassadar for the damage, look at that. They embrace the power of OP Protoss. So they're trying to go for that A-move death ball right there. But yep, it's a Protoss in the house. And that gives us our final pick for the blue team as we're heading into game number 1 between 31 APM and Sloth Sanctuary. We're going to check the APM at some point during the next game just to make sure that they're not lying to us here. Ah, Tannis. Okay, they give themselves a handicap here. So we get Trash Tannis in the house, who can chip in a little bit more on the Immortal, but is generally speaking a pretty useless hero on the side lane, at least this early in the series when everybody else is still available. So a Blaze pick amongst others would have been way better, but we'll see what they can pull off with him. So ladies and gentlemen, map number 1, Battlefield of Eternity. Game number 1, the blue team with Zalt's Decay on Reyna. So Jimmy is indeed getting played here. And we have him with Exterminator as Rabbit is playing Li Ming. We got Paradox on the liability. Morpheus is playing ETC. And then Lizzie Ryan on Brightwing. As over on the right side of the map, we have 31 APM with Phoenix on Vala. Florian's on Hogga. Inspector on Deckard Kane. Dr. Shivago is playing Joanna, and we get a Cyan Fusion, a Storm build by Gerki as he's playing Tacita for the team. Vala also made her choice, so indeed we are getting an arrow build from her. And yeah, with that, it is party time. Very intrigued to see which team is going to take it here. We have some really nice damage output. We have a lot of poke happening, obviously, from both of them. The blue team might have gone a little bit overboard with their attempt to go for the Immortal, always assuming, yep, there it is. Amateur opponent is the choice for our boy, Atanas. But that was kind of to be expected, and this is exactly what they got. So, should be an interesting one. Yeah, this should definitely get quite interesting here. I mean, we have to see a little bit on how the team fights are going to go for the blue team. For 31 APM. They have a nicer lineup. Maybe the pick into Tacita was a bit of a weird one. It's not usually here that you see a lot. But as I already said previously, one of the things that you will encounter in these games for sure is just a lot of preference picks for players who are coming together and play certain heroes with, yeah, like with a huge preference in all of this. But right now we have 31 APM, they're Division 5 team. The blue team is in Division 4, so technically speaking, Sloth Sanctuary would have the advantage in this, or at least you would expect them to be the team that has the upper hand here. We'll see if that actually what happens or not, but time will tell. For now, it's the red team that's pushing. They are already trying to get the stacks together for Vala. That's obviously a big part of this. Try and stack her. Running straight into the Li Ming combo on the other hand. That doesn't really help you too much, so that was a bit tricky. I mean, they made it, but that could have hurt. So, yeah. I mean, at this point in time, we're having not a single kill yet. There's a couple of camps that are, of course, slowly starting to spawn. They're currently making a play for that. Blue team is able to get the mercenary camp. Vala is at 4 stacks. We'll obviously love to get a few more. Top side is where we're now having still our 1v1 locked in. So starting to get the damage here. They're going a little bit early for this camp. I'm not quite sure if they want to grab this already or if they're just looking to take it and then time it later. Because the objective is just now getting announced, but you want to delay this a little bit. Or you're giving your opponent too easy of an opportunity to defend. And they picked it immediately. So, not quite sure about that. If the teams are doing well on this one, they can defend the shamans before they are even becoming a problem. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a strange one. Should have definitely delayed this. I mean, exactly, you see exactly here what's currently happening. So they just jumped in and they took it instantly, and this is now giving them a chance to, yeah, pull heavily ahead on the... Oh, well, not pull ahead, but they can now go for the objective, and they've also... Yeah, they lost the halftime show, but they can essentially play for the objective without ever having to face the music on the lane because the camp got already destroyed. But the red team loses the halftime show. It's full straight-on battle. The blue team, at least this early, has a way better Immortal push than we're seeing from 31 APM. Vala needs her level 7 before she can become a threat here. So they're trying to defend, but they should at least keep one hero over on the right to do some damage and make this a bit of a better situation for themselves, and it's currently not really happening. Vala, she can benefit on the situation here just by getting a couple of stacks, but that's a big shield on the Immortal that we're seeing. So this one is definitely going to hurt a bit. Yeah. So top side, that's where starting to push this again. I mean, they're starting up with this. But this is gonna get quite interesting now, because from the perspective of 31 APM, they have some nice teamfight comps and some... They have a lot of stuff that they can do in a teamfight. They have a couple of combos that they can use there too. They also go up against an opponent who very heavily has spec'd into their ability to go for the objective, specifically with Atanas and with Reyna. So they could try and exploit that, but there's lots of damage done at the top lane already. And they're losing the wall. They will lose hit points on their 4-2. Shouldn't lose the entire thing. Vala should honestly use the opportunity to get as many stacks together against the opponent's team as she can. Sitting at 7 stacks on her Level 1. Does she have an... Yeah, the arrow connects and she has the kill on ETC. So good for her. That's first blood in the game, by the way. ETC went into Echo Paddle on level 7. Calamity for Li Ming. And Vala working in a few more arrows, sitting at 10 now. She's going to be the main tool as the game continues for the red team to do their thing. So she's going to be the one to really, really watch out for when we're talking immortal damage. This is where they have to make their biggest play. And they... somebody needs to take it. Everybody's just like, yeah, you take it. No, you take it. And then just walk away from the camp. It would have been hilarious if they would have realized it too late and the blue team just stole it. That would have been just, chef's kiss right there. But they got it. Now, losing the first objective again is not that big of a deal. You have gotten they got a kill. There's also, of course, the lead and experience that they still maintain. Vala needs to stack a bit more aggressively if she can. I mean, if they can get her in a couple of skirmishes and keep her safe and just allow her to get her stacks together, that would be really nice. So we'll see if it gets to that point. But with the next objective coming up, they need to do a little bit better here than they did on the previous one. Jimmy is obviously leading the charge for Sloth Sanctuary, and so is the liability, Trash Tannis, up here at the top. But I like that they are getting some damage in, just pushing for the wall and take that out. But they should still now make sure that they are ready in the middle for the objective and then maybe even take the halftime show. Vala has some free reign to go for the objective, and instead they're rotating down to the bottom of the map. I don't like that all that much. I think they are still going to have a tough time winning the objective, so Vala, with the team moving over and getting at least a few shots in, would have probably been a smart choice. Either way, now they got to face the music here. Both of the teams are going to level 10, and we have in addition also the camp now set up in a more reasonable time frame. But there's the heroic abilities for both of them. We get Hyperion. No other surprises here, honestly. Suppression Pulse. Tacita with a Black Hole on level 10. And Shockwave for Hogger. But we're essentially set, and they're trying to go for a quick kill on Tacita. Yeah, gets caught out on lane. The Blessed Shield is a bit too late. And they lose one of their damage dealers. And again, at no point did someone like Vala sneak over and try to get some damage in on the Immortal. Instead, what they're doing is push with Hogger. I like this actually a lot. Artanis is just now coming in. The one advantage that they have of making this particular move is that it's going to help them pretty severely to... I mean, they're nearly getting a fort here. So if the objective is lost, you can try and compensate for that loss by now getting value. Vala is getting also more stacks, but I do not know what they're doing with Vala. Vala needs to be here right now. I don't really understand what's going on here. You have your level 7, you have a couple of stacks. She would have loved to have more, but why is Vala not over on the right? That's a huge problem. That's really an issue. Vala needs to be on the blue team's Immortal. You're gonna lose this one anyways, as soon as they push. Phoenix is finally making his way over and is starting. Gets the arrows in, so this is going to start chunking it down a bit. But yeah, that's an issue. The rest of the team is buying some time. Vala gets stunned. Okay, works another set in though. Here comes the Hyperion. Nice. Deckard Kane is gone. They're trying to go for the hit against Jimmy, who just turns it, and in comes ETC. Hogger is dead too. Vala, nah. Rain of Vengeance for the escape. I mean, she got it nearly to 50%, but that's exactly what I've been saying the entire time. You needed the rest of the team to try and defend. Not die, just defend and then fall back. And Vala needed to be the one that comes in and just says, boys, I got this, and helps the team pushing for the objective itself. That's what needed to be done here, and they just did that too late. And that's a problem. So now there's a double push happening from Sloth Sanctuary as they're coming all through the top lane and the bottom of the map. Vala will defend this with ease, I guess. She has 16 stacks now. Would be really good for them if they could push this a little bit further as the game continues and get more stacks so that she has an easier time during the objective phase. But they're of course losing ground. There's 3 kills to 1 now. The top fort is gone. We have, by the way, in regards to the APM, they have indeed been lying to us as Hogger dies. They have a little bit more than 31 APM. Hogger is trying to get there with 79. He's by far the lowest when it comes to the APM numbers. He's just ping-ponging around all day, every day, so it makes sense that he doesn't have to use his buttons a lot. But then over on the other side, look at Li Ming. Li Ming honestly has a bit of a problem. I think it's too much caffeine. That's one too many energy drinks right there. It's kind of fitting that the name of the player is Rabbit, because that's kind of the energy that I'm getting here. But an average APM of 270 right now with Li Ming just rotating between two lanes. Woo! Somebody is having a bit of an anxiety attack over here, if you ask me. Jojo over on the red team side is the one that nearly matches her. Fight for the camp down at the bottom of the map as they're trying to make a move here. Once again, the Hyperion coming in from Jimmy. Vala is the one that falls first, and Deckard Cain is a close second. Dr. Chihuahua is on the run and gets murdered by Li Ming. Yeah, well, that is 3 kills against the red team, and obviously by now we have 7 kills to 1. In addition to all of that, we got topside Hogger hoping to at least get the fort. If he sticks around, he's gonna get it, but he falls back as Atanas is making his move. The blue team is taking more and more control of the game, though. I mean, they're really doing their job now. They are starting to pull ahead heavily. They have a lead in experience. They have a talent advantage coming up once they hit 16. They're stealing the opponent's camp away too. Have pushed the bot lane. The forts are both gone. That means no fountains on the side lanes either. So Sloth, Sanctuary, they are one of the oldest established teams in Heroes Lounge as far as I know. So they're doing exactly what you would kind of expect here. There's a lot of experience on their end. And they're doing work. They're absolutely running this right now. So I guess good for them. How far can they get with this, though? There's always a chance that 31 APM, you know, brings it back in a team fight. Vala is sitting at 15,000 damage. Tazadar at 26. Vala at 18 stacks now on level 1. And again, same problem here. They're going too heavily for the team fight. I like that they're trying to control the choke point. A kill would go well, but they need to send Vala to the top. Great wall by Tazadar. We need to see more of those. But they can't get the kill. And there's the... Oh, Li Ming is dead. Okay, and the double kill. And now Vala has to split. They're defending way too much. It helps them... I don't know what the goal is. I really don't get it. Getting the double kill is nice. I would have split Vala already earlier, but getting the double kill is nice. But what are you waiting for? What do you think is going to happen that makes you finally make a play here? Defend with the rest, and Vala is a monster. You picked her for a reason. Let her do her thing. That's the reason why you chose her in the first place. So let her work those arrows in, and then you're going to be a happy, happy panda. So, yeah, that's what they kind of need to do here. They are doing some work, but they only get it down to 50%. Similar situation to what we saw earlier, basically. But, I mean, by now, it's 16 versus 15, so there's the talent advantage that we've been talking about for quite some time now. We have the build continued for Jimmy, for example, who went now into Paint Them Red. Mirror Ball over here for Li Ming. And they gotta defend once again. I mean, which it definitely can. Don't get me wrong. They can still use Vala here with the arrow build and Monster Hunter. But they're losing more and more ground with every single play that is being made. And I think it's a little bit on a call problem. The last 2 objectives, Vala should have sooner split off and work the Immortal down. She can! I mean, she's one of the best damage dealers once that she has a level 7 against it. So, yeah, that would have been the play. Instead, they're dealing again with a 50% shield Immortal. It's helping the opponent to break through the keep this time. So every single objective that Sloth Sanctuary gets is giving them another structure. They could try and get some kills here too. Yeah, Trash Tannis all the way up at the front again. Vala can at least work a couple of arrows in. If they make it to 20, she's gonna have Acrobat. That's nice. Oh, the mosh pit. And Vala is dead. Atanas is able to get the kill. They're trying to go for Tazadar. Protoss against Protoss. But the slide on Hogger. The stun. And that's him gone too. So all of a sudden, 2 are down. Gerki is somehow kept alive. He was essentially already dead, but made it out of the fight with a quick heal from Deckard Cain. Pretty much the only reason why Sloth Sanctuary is not trying to end the game right here by going for the core. They go for the camps instead, and the red team has to try and somehow recover. And honestly, I don't know how at this point. They don't have a chance to win a straight up race against the Immortal. It's not possible. They don't have the damage output, even with Valor. Team fighting is the only thing that they basically can do. Level 20 is too far away to get Acrobat, for example. So they have to win a big team fight and have to win it quickly and take the Immortal somehow. And I think this is really tough. If they are at the Immortal when it spawns and can then push the opponent back, force them into a fight, great. The problem is also that Sloth Sanctuary has time. They can really play for time here. They don't have to rush anything. They're going to be the first team that hits level 20. And that in and of itself already gives them a big lead here. So that's just one of the problems. So, bit of a weird situation. Camp is going to move through the bot lane. Blue team is instantly on the objective, way faster. Which is another problem in and of itself, of course. And, well, here we go. This is where the red team is trying to make a stand, but they already lost the halftime show. So that's a problem and a half right there. They're trying for ETC, can't get the kill there either. Immortal has repositioned, so now they actually have a chance to use Vala instantly and work some arrows in. But they're just falling back to defend again. You can't defend your way out of this, it's not working. You need to either win a team fight or try and work the shield down on the Immortal so that you can at least defend against the objective itself once it's taken. But you can't hold the line at the Immortal and expect that anything... I mean, I think they're really waiting for Sloth Sanctuary to just make a massive mistake. It could happen. I just don't think that the blue team is going to give them any chance like that. And to make matters worse, this is the last keep that's going to fall. So, yeah, they need to force a fight and need to force it quickly. They're a little bit too passive. They're too timid here. They lose the Immortal, and this is a mad shield, by the way. I mean, we're talking about nearly 100%. What is this, 90%? 90% Immortal. And again, the fort at the bottom of the map, or the keep, will be gone by the time this happens. Hogger goes down. Nice play! Now they're all of a sudden nearly getting kills here. If they would have been able to make a play like this a bit earlier and get those kills, maybe. But yeah, this is an Immortal that is moving straight in for the core itself. So it's a bit unfortunate. I think there was actually potential there for 31 APM. They need to call those shots a little bit differently. Vala needs to be on the objective sooner, or they force the fights. They have a couple of ways how they can play this, but unfortunately they were a bit too timid, too hesitant, and the blue team, they just didn't give them anything. They played this extremely straightforward and did a great job. 10 kills to 3. Now we have level 20 kicking in, as the core is obviously already getting slaughtered. And that is the lead in the best of 3 series here in the winner bracket for the blue team. Nicely done. GG. Well played and a deserved W on Battlefield of Eternity. GG.
We're going to head straight into game number 2, but before we do, once again guys, if you enjoy the coverage on the channel here, if you enjoy the match, please like and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. It also helps to boost the game to an even wider audience. And of course, it helps to get people back into Heroes of the Storm, as the algorithm recommends the videos to people that were interested in Heroes of the Storm in the past. So again, before we continue, if you haven't done it yet, subscribe to the channel and like the video. Appreciate it. And with that, we're heading straight into the second map of the series.
Game number 2, Infernal Shrines. By the way, as we're heading into the second map, once again a quick reminder that every hero that has been played cannot be played again. Additionally, you can also participate in Heroes Lounge. If you don't know them, you can go to heroeslounge.gg. There should be a link in the description if you watch us on YouTube right now as well. And everybody can sign up. So in this case, for example, we even have some bronze players in the game that you're currently watching here. As I said before, we're obviously focusing at the lower end of the spectrum with the amateur players. It's supposed to be a bit fun. We are going to see some interesting picks. We're going to see some interesting decision making, and we can talk about it a bit. Also highlight, of course, mistakes and where people could improve. But if you find yourself in a similar situation and you want to play with people that are of the same mindset, that also want to play a bit competitively and, you know, maybe brainstorm some new strategies, prepare for an opponent, check them out. You can go to heroeslounge.gg, sign up for the next season, go to the Discord if you have any questions. They have a really cool active community where you get all your questions easily answered, and they've been around for ages, so people really enjoy participating in those games. You have your normal season, there's the occasional special tournament as well, so if you haven't checked them out yet, I would highly recommend that you do that. And yeah, again, in the games here, we have everything ranging from like gold, plat, and even some bronze players that are currently playing here. And, well, for map number 2, we're getting with Infernal Shrines, Rhaegar and Kel'Thas. So very high priority here for Kel'Thas, which is definitely not something that you would see on the top level. We have seen the odd Kel'Thas pick every now and then, but very late into the draft and always under certain restrictions where a lot of other heroes were unavailable. 31 APM, bit hesitant in game number 1. Now they're going for more of an aggressive composition, at least if their main tank is anything to judge by. A Nubarak and the Haka, so something more designed to go into the opponent's team and get aggressive there. Yeah, last few bans after, especially tanks were targeted by 31 APM, so they could actually ban another one out here. It's kind of amazing to me that Johanna is available still. They banned Garrosh, they banned Yava, they didn't care about Johanna. I mean, she is awesome on Infernal Shrines too. So if they want to ban anything, that would probably where my vote would go. If they want to target the tank. They banned Tyrael. Fair enough. So are we going to get a Jojo pick? Or what exactly is Sloth Sanctuary now going to take here? But Jojo, I mean, this just screams Johanna at me. AoE, CC, lots of control, survivability, but what do you want? Most of the tanks that were banned are very aggressive tanks. So we get Muradin, okay, Johanna is just let off the wayside. And now that I'm talking about it, I'm like sitting there, I'm like, wait a second, is she still available? I just told you guys a second ago that heroes can only be played once, so yeah, I'm kind of missing my own rule here. We get Muradin and we get Leoric. Ah, there's Tychus. So they get the transformation kicked in. And then we have Jaina as well. But Rabbit, last but not least, a little bit more damage is needed. They got a mage. They could go for some sustained damage. With Muradin, the blue team can still be aggressive. Jump in, get that Storm Bolt, tee it up for Kel'Thas, Gravity Lapse, maybe even Leo Slow and Tomb. Lots of tools that they can use. And the final pick for the blue team as we're heading into game number 2 is Thrall. Triple frontline for them. Let's go, everybody. The Sloths up against 31 APM. The blue team in the lead. It's match point for the Sloths. Morpheus on Muradin. Zult's Decay with Kel'Thas. We get Rabbit on Thrall. Lizzie Ryan on Rhaegar, and Paradox is playing Leoric for the team on their match points. So, what about 31 APM? Can they play a little bit more? Ooh, we have Crash Lightning as well. Look at that. Thrall going straight for the stacks. Yeah, over on the right side, Phoenix for Tychus. We got Inspector on Anduin. Dr. Zhivago is playing an Uberok. We got Gackle on Jaina, and Florian's on Dehaka. So, red team has to be a bit more aggressive, but they actually got a really nice dive comp now. Can come in with an Uberok, trap that stun, get Jaina with slows, burst damage. Maybe the Haka can connect that Tong too. And then for the objective, you have Tychus transformation amongst other things that they can utilize here. So, yeah, we're off to a pretty decent start here with Third Wind now kicking in. We got Crash Lightning. And the first camps instantly being focused at the 30-second mark when they spawn from the blue team. So, yeah, Sloth Sanctuary came in right away and said, we want this one. And the red team not going for the camp yet. They just went down to the bottom and took the minion wave, so they're already trailing it behind when it comes to sheer camp clear. And I think the blue team is most likely going to be happy with just taking the neutral camp. Yeah, they're not invading or anything. But this means still 2 camps against 1 in favor of the blue team here. So they're doing okay. Thrall is obviously part of the 4-man. So not sitting at the top lane and is going to try and get his stacks in. The real power of Crash Lightning unfolds when he's done with the quest, because the priority of the targeting is then shifting towards heroes only, if they're in range. But if you can get stacks, that obviously in and of itself is already a win. This is just gradually increasing the damage of Thrall. So it's not like you get nothing out of it until the quest is completed. And Morpheus is just sitting at the side here, waiting for opportunities to get some Storm Bolts in. bad beetle. The spray game is absolutely on point here. It's the beetle and he's like, ah, rip. So that was a good one. I like that. Great spray as well. A bit late on that particular storm ball, but that would be pretty cool too. So definitely checking the bushes. But yeah, we have still gravity laps now upgraded with another wind. Reverberation for Murden. And the blue team, I mean, the blue team is still trying to get the occasional play set up by Murden, but generally speaking, they're playing this quite slow, a little passive, trying to stack Khaldor, trying to stack Thrall a little bit. So they're not pressuring it too much. Tychus has gone into the bigger they are on level 4. First objective is now called up in the middle of the map. And yep, camp is about to be taken. The timing a little bit better for the red team here. Leo is still guarding the camp at the top. Dehaka attempting to take it down. But that's already some pretty decent damage on the wall. It's actually way more damage than I expected they would be able to pull off. So they break the gate. They take one of the towers out. Gate is still up. Could be taken by Leo. One swing is all that it needs. But they invaded the camp here as well. And Khaldor pays with his life for it. He nearly got the kill on Jaina, but not quite. Oh, but they can take Tychus out. So in the little Song of Ice and Fire that these guys are currently playing for us, Jaina takes the upper hand. But they want more, and they get Thrall. So the aggression hasn't quite worked out for the Sanctuary. We have 31 APM now with the upper hand on the objective, and they should actually be able to take this one. If they focus on it, which they don't, because they're chasing Rhaegar. So they lose a lot of time chasing heroes that they at the end can't kill. And now everybody is back up on the map for the blue team. So there's still a chance that they're trying to take this one. But a really interesting situation right now. The initial lead for 31 APM, thanks to all of this. Level 7 for both teams, which gives the paralyzing enzymes to Dehaka. 20-25 stacks now. And another Storm Ball just zips through the heroes and hits a minion. But the blue team is now taking control of the objective. Now they're way behind and they got a lot of catching up to do if they want to get to a point where they can threaten to take the Punisher. But also, apparently Tychus has a little bit of a death wish here. Gets hit by the gravity laps and goes down. Tychus is gone. Rhaegar makes it out. But the red team is so close to the objective. Leo and Khaldor in particular are just taking down whatever they can. And they're closing the gap, but I don't think they can. 37 for the red team. There's still fights happening. 38, 39. They're going to get it. They're going to get it. There it is. Mortar Punisher for 31 APM. And a drag on Thrall, who is about to die again. Well, Leo with a slow, and they safeguard Thrall for now. So Punisher is jumping towards the gate as usual. Again, cannot be baited over anymore in the new patch. Thrall got himself a couple of stacks, is sitting at 6. Nothing crazy. But this is a solid defense here. So blue team is still a bit ahead in experience. We have 2 kills on each side. And the raw damage, I mean, again, it's early, we are not in 10 yet, but the raw damage numbers. We have Leo with a drain and the swings on 11,000. Jaina's at 9k. Topside wall has been completely taken out. And down at the bottom of the map, Thrall is just doing his thing against the big bad minions. And Muradin is just anchoring play after play here. Has gone for the Epstein skin here. Just trying to lure kids into the white van with a little bit of candy. Definitely a bit of misstep from Blizzard on the skin department, if you ask me, but they have never corrected it. It is a bit of a wild one that this thing exists, but I mean, yeah, it is a bit of a shame. So, Canicking Muradin over here. It's a nope from my end. Nope. Level 10 is ready. Phoenix, Ancestral Healing. We get, ooh, that, I hate this talent so much. Haymaker is kind of funny at times, but generally speaking, whenever I see Haymaker, I'm just like, oh, why? Let's see if we're going to get some good plays with this. I suppose the idea might be to get Tychus out of some of the fights when he specs into Odin, but oh, that is generally a talent where I see so many Meridian players afterwards just die over and over again. Because they never went into Avatar, so we'll see if Muradin here is able to get good use out of it, get that utility. and then win fights for the team while not dying. Could be. But Playmaker, for isolation plays, it can be kind of nice. But still, Avatar, the superior talent. You want to have a frontline tank, you know, that can also tank a little bit. They have a triple frontline, to be fair. But that's the second time, third, that Thrall has now died. So yep, Thrall is gone again. Earthquake used too, which is probably even more of a problem because there's a big cooldown that he just used there. But at the bottom of the map, or in the middle, the fort gets attacked and the red team is diving. Shots are obviously fired at the beetles and the minions right now before they're targeting heroes, so they can definitely use the beetles of Anubarak to distract us a bit and then make a move. I wonder what the logic is, by the way, from that fort to take minions out first. I mean, obviously Blizzard made this in, but just think about whoever is crewing that fort. Whenever heroes approach, like, why would you go for the cannon fodder first? Don't really understand what's happening over there. Maybe they have some really weird bonus incentives at the end of the year where it's more about how many minions they took out. So, yeah, no clue. Or it's just a Christmas present for all of the heroes that want to dive in and do their thing. Now, second objective is up. Blue team is gonna be here early. Camps taken again by both teams, and it's the red team that is timing this quite well. Dehaka is already pulling this in, trying to focus the pressure onto the Shaman itself. But as the Arcane Punisher is being fought for, we have the lead for Sloth Sanctuary. This time we are fighting with heroic abilities though. That means Odin is instantly there. Immediate Odin use. Muradin is already getting murdered a little bit, and again does not have Avatar. So that's a very early Ancestral that had to be thrown out in order to save him. And Paradox on Leoric will have to pop the fountain. With Odin used, this gives easy control to 31 APM on the Shrine. Blue team is still ahead though, 25 to 19, but that's not going to last very long. Avatar already over, and now the chance for the Sloths to re-engage. They're starting to come in, they want Anubarak, and Anub got wrecked. He's down, and Tomb used against 2. They could go for Jaina here. Muradin is jumping in, quest completed, Ice Block used, Anduin and Jaina both die, and so does Dehaka. The Blondies are gone, and Sloth Sanctuary not only with a quad kill, but also with an objective and a lot of space on the map right now. So they're coming in with big damage. Thrall is the one to stay with the minion wave to trigger the Inspire buff. And Zult's Decay with Kel'Thas is taking another camp at the bottom of the map. The fort is gone. That's a foregone conclusion here. This one is 100% eliminated. No chance. Thrall, by the way, 13,000 damage, only 7 stacks on level 1. Doesn't really get a lot of stacks together. The problem is that during the objective there's just too many bounce targets and you can't stack it as easily as, let's say, on Battlefield of Eternity. So the level 1 choice for Thrall, maybe not the best given the map. If this was Battlefield, it's a different story. But now we got the aggression through the bot lane. They want to break the wall on the keep instead of just moving towards the middle and take the fort. Could try and take both. Overstaying their welcome a little bit, if you ask me. Muradin is jumping in. Gets the Ancestral. Alright. Problem is the Cocoon was thrown out by Anubarak. So Muradin, he's able to jump out. There's a 2-level gap, by the way, between the two teams right now. So, huge advantage. Currently, we have hero experience. I mean, basically every single metric is ahead for the blue team. Then Tomb again against the Anubarak, and he's gone. It's kind of wild to me, by the way, how many times that was successful, considering that they have Anduin on the other side. To be fair, they don't have their level 16 yet, but still, normally against an Entomb, you just have those pulls. But he doesn't save them too much, I guess. Jaina put into a bit of a corner. Gravity Labs connect. And that's the end of her. So, 3 heroes down once again on the red team side. They could go into the middle and try and push for the next fort, which they should do, honestly. But we have now a 2.5 level gap. We have level 16 talents for them. But look at the difference in minion experience, for example. That's absolutely crazy. 7,000 point difference. Much, much better job by the blue team when it comes to lane control, getting the minions, and keeping your experience up here. This is really where the red team is, at least right now, losing the game. They could bring themselves back with a few team fights and good kills. But this is really what makes it difficult. And 2.5 levels. At that point in time, that's very, very difficult to bridge. 10 stacks for Thrall. Yeah, he's getting a few more. And he also went straight into Thunderstorm. Now again, personally not really the biggest fan of the level 1 choice, given the map. If he would have gone for Echo of Elements, he could have gotten a bit more value out of his 16 talent, I suppose. Traditional builds on Thrall are more centered around your Frostwolf pack on level 4 and then Alpha Wolf on level 16. We've seen the variation, or a similar one that he plays right now, but it's not really all that common on the higher level of play. Tychus, damn, he just got murdered. Got absolutely murdered. And there's the body block on Jaina. She eats the Stormbolt. And that does not only guarantee a trip to the dentist, but also another death for the Frost Mage for 31 APM. Leo is taking the fort at the top lane out, and in the middle of the map, they're taking the next. The Haka is trying to counterplay at the bot lane. The hope for them is, of course, to get level 16 talent so that at least during the next objective, they have a fighting chance. But with the camp now being stolen away, with both of the forts that were still standing eliminated, this is starting to get really tricky. They see Anduina comes straight in, Muradin jumps in, he gets that Stormbolt light bomb, and Anduin walks away. 4-man gank, and Anduin finally grew a beard and manned up a little bit, and is able to survive. Good for him. So, yeah, not bad. Anduin is able to make it out, give the team another chance, and now that they have 16, they should really go for the objective, and for some reason they don't. Okay, they're coming in a bit late. They have finished their job and lost some time there, but they're still trying to engage. 37 stacks, 38, and the Punisher is taken. So, easy objective. Dehaka with the tongue on Rhaegar. Self-Ancestral keeps him alive. That could have backfired heavily. If Rhaegar dies here, that's a problem. Leo, he'll be back. He'll be back. It's all about the mid lane push right now. At least take the wall out. Try and see if you can go for the keep. 18, 19 on the board. Well, they're going to get to 20 soon. And here comes the move for game. Maybe, if they can get kills with it. Not having that level 20 is probably gonna slow them down just a little bit. But if they can, for example, get the keep, that would already be huge. And Catapult is now chipping in. They get Inspire on the minions. It's a Frozen Punisher too that keeps the minion wave alive longer. And that's keep number 1 gone in this game. So, well done. With only 4 heroes pushing, because Leo was just a glorified observer bot at that point. Dehaka, an ambitious attempt to go for the camp at the bottom of the map, considering that the blue team is going to be here soon. Should probably try to get... I mean, I don't even... Why did you go on the wave, dude? That was a huge error. Going on the wave in that situation, that was a problem. Isolation hits, he gets the tongue too. Red team is trying to engage. There's no level 20 yet. They're forcing the fight here. Ice block, and Jaina is dead. Muradin made it out. And the rest of the team still trying to get away here. Dehaka already half back home. Anduin is gone. And boy, they're taking everybody else down. And it seems like this is going to be the move for game and core. Level 20 talents are in as well. After Jaina died, everything just fell apart. They lost everything. Dehaka won't be able to defend solo against what we're seeing here. And that is game. Even with Jaina being top damage and Tychus coming in second, it's not the damage that counts at the end of the game. The Sanctuary takes it with a 2-0 and moves on to the next round of the winner bracket. GG.